Hi everybody, most of you have just seen my little head. Hi everybody, most of you have just seen my little bouncing head on Facebook. Thank you all for coming. This is your vigil. I'm just a person who filled out a form. So thank you all very, very much. I am delighted at the group that we have. Some minor things, if we can all sort of get on the steps or on the porch, that's what our permit covers, and I don't want anybody getting in trouble for blocking the sidewalks. So just on the steps, on the porch, we're good to go. I'm going to hand it over to our opening speaker, Julia Johnson, to get us started, and then we'll do the moment of silence at 7:20. So thank you all again.
First they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Martin Niemoller. We are here in solidarity with Michael Brown and every other victim of police brutality, past, present, and future. Some of us have personal experience with this type of injustice. Others simply refuse to bear witness to needless suffering and do nothing. As we watch the oppression in Ferguson unfold, we know in our hearts that that could just as easily have been our community, our neighborhood, placed under siege. We are here to stand against the death and violence perpetuated by those who have violated the trust between citizens and public servants. Time and time again, the police have let us down. The prosecutors have let us down. The judges have let us down. We demand justice. This is a matter of life or death. We refuse to walk the streets in fear of those who have sworn to protect us. There was no reason for Michael Brown to be gunned down in the street in a public execution. We know that racial profiling unjustly accuses, harasses, and violently violates the rights of innocents solely based on the presumptions because of the color of their skin. It is not only immoral, but it has deadly consequences. The Black community is tired. The poor are tired. The underrepresented, the misrepresented, the oppressed, and those who would dare to question the actions of those with power and authority. We have pleaded, begged, marched, raised awareness, cried out for justice, and held vigils only to be back here again. Asking the same question, why was Michael Brown shot dead by a police officer while unarmed? Why was he shot 35 feet away from the officer with his hands up, saying, "Don't shoot"? Why did the officer repeatedly pull the trigger, ensuring that Michael Brown would never again take a breath to be able to defend his innocence? We struggle to understand why, and we are here to express our pain, anger, and sadness in hopes that this will not happen again. But sadly, it will. At this very moment, there might be another unarmed civilian, probably a Black man, who is being brutally beaten or murdered by another irresponsible member of law enforcement. We must prevent these senseless deaths and demand justice for those who had the misfortune of encountering police brutality while daring to live a life free from violence. We must hold law enforcement responsible for their actions. Accountability is key. Cops cannot and will not be allowed to get away with murder. Our children, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, friends, and neighbors deserve better. Sadly, justice is missing from the justice system. There is no point in going through the motions and holding court when those actions bring forth no justice. No changes. Just a hollow facade that allows our pain to fester. We demand action to end the prevalence of shoot first, ask questions later. We demand an end to the culture that says protect your own, even when they are wrong in the police force. We demand our communities are not subject to the whim of racist and bigoted individuals who have no right to carry a badge. We must ensure that the guidelines specifying when a cop may shoot are crafted with the utmost respect for life and taken as seriously as the life they can potentially take. Police should be required to wear body cameras to ensure that they are being watched and held accountable. We need assurance that those who are chosen to take on this duty of protecting citizens are not tainted in their gut reactions with bigotry and hatred. In your community, right here in Pittsburgh. I'm starting a chapter of Family for Justice with Healing. If you are interested in signing up, I believe our first action will probably be a protest, march, rally, to continue what we're starting today.
Friends, that was my friend Julia Johnson, and I want to thank her for all of her words, and I want to thank you all for coming out to support. I'm really proud of Pittsburgh right now. We didn't know when Amy sent out the Facebook invite, I didn't know who was going to come, and I am humbled to see how many beautiful people here care about changing the way the world is working, because it's not working. We have a couple of minutes before the national moment of silence. We have 3 minutes. I was taught a song today by my friend Christina Springer. It's a poem. It was by a poet named Nikki Giovanni, and the music was written by Sweet Honey and the Rock. After I sing my song that I learned today, because it's unfortunately too appropriate. It's a 30-year-old song, and I'm sorry we still have to sing it. I'm going to turn this mic over to my friend Renee Gray after I sing this song. He was her only child, a baby boy. She was his second daughter, a father's pride and joy. Somebody's mama, brother, best friend, sister, lover. Maybe anyone student running high, teaching brother. Gathered crying tears that fill a million oceans. It doesn't matter where you live. People say, not in this neighborhood.
Daily. Our children are dying daily. We want to say thank Ferguson for standing up finally. Somebody needs to stand up. We're dying in the street every day a mother like me is crying for their children. No one cares about what goes on in the community. And that's what Ferguson is tired of, and that's what Pittsburgh is tired of, because it's a problem here too. And when I look around and I see everybody of all different colors, this is what democracy looks like. But this is not what it looks like in our city on a day-to-day basis. It's not what it looks like in the court. It's not what it looks like at the funeral homes. It looks like our children. And we are dying. We are dying, and we're tired of dying. We're tired of dying. Somebody's standing up. And I hope that we continue to stand up. You know, we gotta, just save our children. So standing up is what it takes. So thanks Ferguson for standing up. Thank you.
My name is Jesse. I'm from the Answer Coalition, which stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. And I have to ask you all a question. How many more are we going to let the police get away with murdering? How many more poor people? How many more black people? How many more queer youth are we going to let the police harass? How many more immigrants are we going to let the police take advantage of because they don't have legal rights? We're working in Pittsburgh, the Answer Coalition, to build up a movement to fight back against police brutality. We're trying to build a movement that'll stay out in the streets. We're trying to build a movement that will let no more cops get away with incidents like Jordan Miles, Leon Ford Jr., Johnny Gamage, and Ariel Lothar. I have a friend who's walking around who's distributing flyers and is taking signatures on a petition. Please sign up if you're interested in working alongside with us, because we're interested in working alongside with you to make sure Pittsburgh will not suffer any more incidents of police brutality. Thank you.
Teenagers killed, and teenagers killed, and teenagers killed. My first love, killed, shot, while I was in 9th grade. I'm tired of seeing this on the news and wondering, I thought the cops were here for me. Wake up, the anti-molestations in elementary, go to the cops. How am I going to go to the cops if I'm scared of them? I'm scared to walk down the street and see a cop car. I get nervous because I think they're going to pull me over and pick with me. Walking with a hood on, hurry up, take my hood off and walk like I'm innocent, even though I wasn't doing that. I'm going to Duquesne for law, and I'm scared to walk that cop car. I want to be in the courthouse, but I'm scared to stand next to those people because I think they're going to shoot me or shoot my brother, who does nothing but do his artwork, and sit inside because we're too scared of the cops that shot and murdered our dad. That's why I'm here today, because this is intolerable. And the more we sit and, oh, it was a cop, no, it's unacceptable, and cops need to know they can be held accountable for excessive force. And there needs to be a line drawn that you cannot shoot somebody down in broad daylight and walk around like, oh, I have a badge, so it's okay. There's a line that needs to be drawn, and we need to all stand together and draw that line.
Hi, my name is Christopher Jodell Winston. As you heard, my father was the one that got shot and everything. My sister's story, his name was Christopher Lee Winston. And basically, how that impacted my life is that it made me feel, I wouldn't say like scared, but more or less separated from everybody. And I noticed we have like a whole bunch of different faces and everything here, and a whole bunch of different people come out. But the people I know, the people from my street and from my block, they're not here. And the people from my school and from, you know, poor school system and everything like that, they don't show up to these kind of things. And the people even down the street and everything like that, that buy all the shoes and everything and buy all the jewelry and everything like that, like, they're not gonna support this. Why? Because they feel separated. Because they don't feel like they're a part of even the city, of the town. They feel like we're out in a war zone somewhere. And people that come together and say, you know, we're rallying for your freedom and we're rallying for your peace and we're fighting for everybody to be one. Well, the truth is we're not. We're in different circumstances and different realities. And you know, it's hard to understand where somebody is coming from when they grew up like that their whole life. And basically, you know, I'm looked at as like a big, you know, menacing dude and everything like that. And my father was like 6'5" and everything, 300 pounds. If we're walking down the street together, somebody gonna think we're up to something, no matter what. And it can't go away unless, you know, you actually try to reach those people, actually try to go down there and talk to them and understand where they're coming from. A lot of these people out here, they're not even bad. They just had it rough. People have died in their families. People have been on drugs in their families. They have been given avenues and not seen like a light at the end of the tunnel. It's hopeless. It's a cycle. It's just a vicious cycle. And losing my father and everything like that, I'm lucky that I had the mind that I had to not go off and do some crazy stuff like go rob somebody or go kill somebody or even try to get revenge or some shit like that, like go shoot up a courthouse or something. It's just what happened. So if you really want to help, like if you really want to do something, after you're done standing out here and you know with your signs and your shirts and you know your speeches and everything like that, really try to look into their eyes and everything when you see them on the street and really try to understand where they're coming from. because otherwise they're not going to feel comfortably coming to shit like this. They're not.
Can everybody hear me? I'm not going to try to go unscripted because it's too emotional, but I just want to share with everybody here something that I posted on Facebook about respectability politics. I'm so sick of some black people, some white people, certain people, not everybody, saying that, well, if you just straighten your hair and just pull your pants up and you put on a suit, then you'll be fine.
Not true.
I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Yes. So this is what I posted on Facebook. I'm going to just read it to y'all real quick. It says, and this was directed towards the black community. I'm going to read it word for word. My dear, dear, dear black people, I know that some of you mean well when you say things like we need to do better if we want to be respected, or black on black crime is rampant in our neighborhoods and no one ever cares. What you are really saying is, if we adhere to respectability politics, racism will end. Here's the issue with respectability politics. It falls into the category of victim blaming. So instead of placing the blame on the people that are doing the oppressing, you're unknowingly blaming the oppressed. Black on black murder is simply called murder, period. And the authorities are fine with locking up and pursuing black men for murdering other black men. Always have been, always will be. What we are dealing with now is people in positions of power that are abusing those that they have sworn to protect and serve. That is the issue. Policemen are targeting black men, killing them, and even when it's caught on tape, some of you still believe that the victims must have been asking for trouble in some way, shape, or form. You are brainwashed and you don't even know it. Why is it okay for Asians, whites, and Latinos to walk around with gaudy jewelry, grills in their mouths, and their pants sagging, but whenever we do it, we must be asking for trouble? There are ratchet people, forgive me for using that term, but it's class. There are ratchet people of every race, creed, and color, and there are people of different races that appropriate quote-unquote hood culture, but they are never viewed as a threat. What is the difference? Skin color. Even when black people don't necessarily fit into the hood profile, they are targeted and labeled as troublemakers. Like Trayon Christian, the young man that went into Barney's to buy a belt that he had saved his own money for. Some of y'all had the nerve to read about that story and say, what was he doing trying to buy such an expensive belt? Black people, we gotta do better. Instead of questioning Barney's or the NYPD, you jump straight to victim blaming. A few years ago, I would have agreed with you guys wholeheartedly. For most of my life, I believed that if black people stopped using African American vernacular English, quote unquote, Ebonics, and stop clicking our tongues and swerving our necks, we would be viewed as equal and we would be a step closer to ending racism. But the sad truth is that type of mentality is one of conformity, and black people should not have to conform in order to be respected. Hell, the civil rights movement leaders all wore suits and dresses and were still attacked because they were black. Listen to me, black people. They want us to point the fingers at each other. They want us to be divided. We all have to do better, not just the people in power and not just the people in the hood, but all of us. Introspection is a necessity if you are serious about combating racism. Please do it daily. Thank you.
Life. Should there be a reason to take? Every time I wake, should I be afraid of the black man, supposed brother, or the paradox protector? You tell. Because obviously, the threat to burn in hell isn't enough. Stay tough. I know it's a day of silence, but I will yell, I will. Yeah. I seen this thing on Facebook where the cops were dancing with the kids like friends, but in the end, when will it end? I don't want anyone to regurgitate pain, but the thought in my brain today is music. And our anthem shouldn't be Another One Bites the Dust. Peace is a must.
You see how much we look alike. It runs in a family. No, this is my cousin Danielle Graham Robinson. Do you want me to pull it up? I got it. She got it. She don't need it. All right. Okay. So, just to to give you a little bit of context. There was a comment that was made by someone who was responding to a video that Nikki had posted earlier. And his comment was, and excuse my language, there are assholes of every race. And it struck me as a response to say, this isn't a white person problem. And I got what he was saying, and yes, there are people of every race who are not great people. But it made me want to respond and say, let's not take away the reality of the problem here. So my comment was, and I'm really nervous right now. There's some really amazing people here. I'm a little starstruck by Jaziri X being here. So, fellow white people, stop trying to equalize assholery, that was not my word, when it comes to racism. Racism, ironically, is not an equal opportunity form of hatred. It is something that primarily rests comfortably within white culture. It is very important to note that only white people are capable of racist hatred that systemically disempowers many non-white people. A black person can call an Italian person a dumb dago wop all day long. It may hurt the Italian person's feelings, and it is rude, inconsiderate, and maybe even hateful, but that's not racism. The person in the video is taking advantage of historical hatred. It runs very deep and damn near impossible for non-whites to replicate it in the same way. It may be retributive or reactive if attempted, but without the systemic power element, it is just not the same. I think white people say such things because we are deeply ashamed of such behavior and we want to disassociate from it at all costs. Okay. Lost my place. So we attempt to spread it out, the responsibility among all races, which is dangerous because the responsibility of racism doesn't belong to all races. It's ours, white people's alone. We have to own it. We have to dismantle it from within our own racist families. We all have the uncle, do we not? We have to dismantle it from within our own co-workers. We hear the conversations, do we not? The color of my skin makes people think we're on the same team when it comes to some of those conversations. We need to dismantle it from within our police forces and from within our schools.
Right.
That was the comment.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of an organization called Let's Get Free the Women and Trans Prisoner Defense Committee, and I'm recruiting. We are going down to Harrisburg on Thursday, August 28th as a prison justice field trip. We're going to lobby the legislative aides, talking about life without parole, talking about how Pennsylvania locks up more children to life sentences than anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. Over 500 juveniles are sentenced to life without parole. We're going to be focusing on women who are sentenced to life, including my friend Avis Lee, who's been incarcerated for 34 years for being a lookout at a crime. She made some bad decisions with her brother. They went to rob somebody. She was across the street as the lookout. Because of the murder felony rule, anyone at the scene of a felony in which a murder happens receives a life sentence. She's been in prison since she was 18. She is 52 years old. We believe she deserves a second chance, and it's gonna... did I turn this off? So I'm really excited. This is the first time that people are coming together to talk about life without parole in this very public way. So it's going to be fun. We're taking vans and cars. Decarcerate PA is with us. Different organizations around the state are with us. So if anybody wants to go, please check in with me. We'd love for you to come.
Hands up, don't shoot! 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 shoot! Hands up, don't shoot!